Good morning again, girls. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? So this week we'll continue chapter 12, and today we have lesson 3, multiply a unit fraction and a whole number. And as you remember in the last lesson, 12.1, the first lesson of chapter 12, we have learned how to multiply a unit fraction and a whole number using repeated addition. Okay, but today we will multiply the unit fraction and the whole number using multiplication. So let's remember again, what is the unit fraction? As you know, the unit fraction is one part of a whole, and the unit fraction always shows 1 in the numerator, 1/4. Here we have 4 squares, and each square is 1/4, so this is the unit fraction. Also here, the unit fraction is 1/5. We have 5 squares, each one shows 1/5. 1/5. Each part is 1/5. So as you see here, this unit fraction has always what? 1 in the numerator. So for today, our lesson is about how to multiply these types of fractions with a whole numbers. How is that? Let's see. We'll take this example. Here we have 3 as a whole, and here we have 1/4, the fraction. In our lesson before, we have learned how to do these types of questions by doing repeated addition. So 1/4 multiply 3, it means that the 1/4 is repeating 3 times. So 1/4, we did it as repeated addition. We said, girls, that the multiplication actually is a repeated addition. So we will repeat the 1/4, right? So here, how we will add them together? We said that the denominator never change. I will rewrite it as it. And we will plus the numerators. So 1 and 1 and 1 is 3. This is the way how we found whole number, multiplying whole number with a unit fraction in the last lesson by doing adding. Today we will learn how to do it by using multiplication. Let's take an example here. 5 multiply 1/7. I just want to tell you a secret about factors in multiplication. You know that the two multiplied numbers in multiplication, we call them what? Factors. So the 5 is a factor and the 1/7 is factor, right? But the factors should be the same type in multiplication. So how we multiply a whole number with a fraction? Okay, we have one way to multiply them. We just have to change the whole number here into a fraction. My whole number here is 5. So the 5 here, it can change itself into a fraction because the other factor here is a fraction. So we should do both of them as a fraction to multiply them. Okay? So here the 5, it can change itself into a fraction. How is that? Just it will stand on the denominator 1. So this is the way how I change a whole number into a fraction. Again, if I have the whole number 6, and this 6 comes with another fraction, for example, 1/9. The 6 here should change itself into a fraction because the other number is a fraction. So it can change itself into what? 6/1. I will just put the denominator of 1. Because the 6 and 6/1, actually, they are the same. 6/1, it means 6 divide 1. And we know that any number divide 1, the answer will be the same number. So 6 divide 1 is 6. 7 divide 1 is 7. So even if I put the denominator 1, and without putting the denominator 1, the number will stay the same. Let's take another example. Here, if I have, for example, the whole number 9, how can I change this 9 into a fraction? I will just put it on the denominator 1. Just put the denominator 1, guys. The denominator should be 1, actually. We can't put any other denominator, it's just 1. Okay, we can't put any other number. So just put the whole with a denominator of 1, so you will get a fraction. 9 out of 1, the same as 9. Exactly the same idea when I have, for example, 5. You can write it as 0.5. The 0 here doesn't mean anything. The same thing, the 1 here, if you're putting the 1 in the denominator or without putting, it will stay number 9. It will not change the number, right? The same idea. So again, we can change the whole number into a fraction. Look at here. 2 multiply 2 multiply 3 is 6, as you see. Whole number and whole number, it means that I have to multiply them to get 6. The same idea here. What if I have the 2? If it comes with 1/3. So 2 is a whole and 1/3 is a fraction. So I have to change the 2 here in this case, right? I just want to tell you here that the wholes come together and the fractions come together. So this is a note. To write any whole number as a fraction, we just put the denominator of 1. If I have the whole 7, it will be 7 out of 1, right? If I have 9, it will be 9 out of 1. So look at this example. We will do it now as multiplication. 3 multiply 1/4. As you see, this 1 whole comes with a fraction. What we said, in multiplication, we should have them both the same. If we have them a whole together or fractions together. So here we have to change this whole into a fraction. I have to change the 3 into a fraction. How is that? Just put the denominator of 1. 3 out of 1. I will rewrite it again here. Multiply 1/4. Okay, so this is the most important step in our lesson today, is to know how to change the whole into a fraction. Okay, we changed it into a fraction. Then what is the next step? The next step, we want to multiply them. Let's see how we multiply fractions together. When you see here, remember the addition. How we did the addition? We add the numerator together and we put the denominator as it. In multiplication, here we have different idea. We will multiply the 3 and the 1 together. It means that we will multiply the numerators together to get the answer. And also here, the denominators, we will work with them. And this is the difference between multiplication and addition. In addition, we work only with the numerator. But in multiplication, we also work in the denominator. So 1 times 4 is 4. So my answer is 3/4. Remember, girls? Remember, in multiply two fractions together, we just multiply the numerators first, then the denominators. Let's have this example. 3 multiply 1/6. How is that? First step, we will put the 3 by the denominator 1 because it will change itself into a fraction. Now we will do the numerators together, so we will have 3, and the denominators also together, we will have them 6. So this is my fraction. Let's have one more example. 4 multiply 1/6. As you know, the 4 should change itself into what? Into a fraction. Very nice. Why? Because here we have a fraction. So we should have both fractions. How it change? I will just put the 4 out of 1. So I will rewrite it again here. 4 out of 1 multiply 1 out of 6. Remember how we multiply fractions together? We just work with both the numerators and denominators. So numerators together, 4 times 1, 4. And denominators together, 1 times 6, 6. This is my fraction. Hope you got the idea, girls. Now go and solve your questions in your lesson. Thank you.